This is a trade recap for June the 28th, 2012 on the ES Runner and Euro Runner trading systems. We break out the profit and loss between pre-market and regular trading hours on the ES and from 2 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Euro. On the pre-market ES, going from the open at 3 o'clock of the cash market open, we stay out of the first 15 minutes of the cash market open. This trade here at 24.75 entry was at 3:20 in the morning, therefore a qualified entry to take. The first half of the position is taken out as 6 ticks of profit. We're using 2 contracts for the primary entry, 1 contract for scalps, which is half as much, and 1 contract for sprints, and 1 contract for cautionary primary entries. Cautionary primary entries look like this right here, and they are a higher risk because the previous trade moved more than 5 points, so you therefore take half your position size. You do the same thing for scalps and sprints. So we're using 2 contracts to keep it simple. First contract taken out is 6 ticks. First profit target. Second contract is allowed to run and exited at either the candle before news, the candle before the market's open at 9:30, or a certain kind of number which you want to make profit. Maybe you want to make 10 points of profit on a run or something like that. Or when there's 2 cautionary triangles, that is opposite direction triangles. If you're in a short, opposite direction triangles are in green. If there's 2 of those within 10 periods, 10 bars of each other, you close then. These opposite direction triangles in the next few days will be printed as yellow to indicate caution. So when the cautionary triangles appear twice within 10 bars, it's another rule to exit a runner. Otherwise, it's very simple. Just let your runners run until right here at 4:25 in the morning, which is 1 candle before the 4:30 pound set of economic releases which came out, which are all very important and therefore reason to exit your trade. First entry made 6, second entry made 29 ticks. This scalp here, for those in the room, I explained to those in the room they should not take this scalp. It's a late in the move scalp after the market's moved more than 8 points. I suggest not to take these. I'm still going to count this as a loss, but I'll be changing the rules in the coming weeks because the success of later scalps after 8 points a move in pre-market is more like 50-50. I keep the successive trades up to 75 and 80% or better. So therefore, this trade will be going forward, likely not a trade allowed for traders to take. Simple. It's very simple to monitor this. You keep your eyes up here on the maximum profit of a move. When it reaches more than 8 points, you don't take any scalps. For those that do take scalps, it's more aggressive because pre-market doesn't typically move on one move more than 8 to 10 points. That's really reaching the max on a pre-market move. This was a great move that morning. Made a lot of money for those that traded it. Happens often in pre-market, you get good moves. But 9.5, 10 points a move is pushing it to get into a scalp, especially when you've made so much money on the primary entry first contract and primary entry runner. But we'll still count this. It is a rule right now. First scalp number in the series is a valid scalp to take without using the filter of how large the move is as of right now. This next trade here at 7:10 in the morning is cautionary because the previous one made more than 5 points. You take 1 contract versus 2, or again, half of your position size, whatever that might be. From entry here at 23, when you have a chase price printed on a cautionary trade, there's a rule to use a 2-point pullback from the swing low to the swing high. The swing higher here is 24, the pullback is 23. Happens to be the same as the chase price. Now, as you can see here, the market opened at 22 3/4, therefore your 23 limit would have got filled. So the exit on this is when the smart line goes flat, 5 periods in a row, and a contrary opposite direction triangle appears. That is when you exit your primary entries and your cautionary primary entries. The open price, you do it immediately. Now, when you do that, you could have got a couple ticks better in price. You could have got a couple ticks worse. I'm counting it from open to open, and that's a -7 ticks. So pre-market is 6 plus 29 minus 6 minus 7. Total of 22 ticks, 5.5 points made in pre-market. Now we'll go to the 2-minute system. Now this would be the profit made today. Today, you're seeing a video of today's trades. This is the 2nd of July. I'm doing the videos for last week on the 28th and 27th because unfortunately the videos, the audio never worked for some reason on those videos. The audio didn't work the way it should have, so I've got to redo the videos. And you're seeing today's profit of 6 3/4 points were made in the regular trading hours today. Very good day today. Between regular trading hours and pre-market, we had about, it was a good day, about 3 points net, but the pre-market, I think, lost about 4 points, and the regular trading hours made about 7. So we netted 3 points today. Anyway, going back to the 28th. The 28th, if the morning of the 28th was already good, the afternoon was even better. What I'm about to show you here is the afternoon made 64 ticks, 16 points in the afternoon. Okay, 9:30 to 9:45, we don't take any new trades. The first scalp comes in here at 10:30 in the morning, 10:34. Entry here. You have to do these quickly. You can get a tick better sometimes, a tick worse sometimes, but within the first 30 seconds, you have to act on the trade and take a market order, take a short here. And so I use the open price to open prices to keep it simple, okay? The traders in the room this morning made 10 ticks from here down to here. Of course, you can see it went much more than 10 ticks. And then this scalp here was a loser. It's an intra-series scalp, and when the SSI faces up, we're going to stop taking intra-series scalps. Those are scalp numbers after the first number in the series. These are all what are called intra-series scalps. When the SSI faces up, these scalps are not performing very well. Their success rate is more like 50-50, and that's not the kind of numbers I want to see. We're using the SSI now to better qualify intra-series scalps. This is a set of algorithms that I was given by the developer of the system about 3-4 weeks ago to use in the room. These are outstanding set of algorithms that further qualify the entry signals. And we're using it very simply that on an intra-series scalp, if the SSI is facing against you, going up, and a scalp comes in, you don't take it. What this means, everybody, when a scalp comes in, it's a big push on the part of the market to throw selling contracts in here. But when the SSI is facing up, what's telling you is you're in an overbought situation, oversold situation, with prices gradually moving up against you. It just doesn't make a scalp that strong because it means they're finally making a push to offload contracts before they go ahead and cover their shorts and go long. So they're making a final push to get some execution on shorts, and then likely they're going to turn around. So talk more about this in the room for those of you watching the video. I'll explain this more in the room. Very simple thing to look at. When the scalp number comes up, do you have the SSI line going against you? If so, it's better to not take intra-series scalps. But that's not a rule right now, so I'm counting this as a 2-tick loser. Going forward, here at 11:30 in the morning, we didn't take a trade because this was on the 28th. This was FOMC member Pianalto, excuse me, I don't have my contacts in right now, Pianalto. And at 11:30, with him speaking, we don't take a trade right when he speaks because we know the market reacts adversely to that. And as you can see here, 11:30 in the morning, the market shot up, so therefore it doesn't make it a valid long. That's a news rule that we use. All right, so here's lunchtime. We don't take trades between 12 and 1. No new entries between 12 and 1. You can manage your existing positions, but no new entries between 12 and 1. These tend to lose more times than anything. Sprint trade here. Entry here in the short. It almost made the 10 ticks, got very close. Ended up making about, on the short side, about 6 ticks. But the loss of 8 ticks was hit right here, as you can see. Even when the prices are touched, I count this as a loser. The same way I count them when they're touched as a winner because many contracts will get filled here, even on a touch. So this is an 8-tick loser. This scalp. Entry here. Nearly made its 8 ticks. Got very close from 38 3/4 down to 36. And actually this trade, 38.5 down to 36 3/4, made 7 ticks, but not the 8. Several traders moved their stop loss up to break even at this point because we got so close. When we get a tick off of the take profit of 8 ticks or a tick off the take profit of 10 ticks for the sprints, we're starting to take our stop losses to break even just to be safe. But still, I got to count this as a loss here with the first opposite direction triangle appears. You close here. This lost 1 tick from open to open. Then at the end of the day, an outstanding trade, which many people made a huge amount of money on. These trades happen 2 times, probably twice a week, sometimes 3 and 4 times a week. We've had choppier markets the last 2.5, 3 weeks, but still we're getting these trades once and twice a week. This trade was entered here and along. The first 8 ticks of profit were made here in the first contract. The second contract is brought up to break even. The break even, of course, would have been right here. As you can see, the market didn't come down to break even, got within about 4 or 5 ticks of it. But then the runner from the take profit here in the first contract was allowed to run up and up and up and up to the last candle before the 4 o'clock. Our rule is to close all trades at 3:58 p.m. before the 4 o'clock huge candle of volume comes in and doesn't guarantee fills. There was also a scalp made in here. When the first scalp came in here, this is what's called an intra-series scalp. It's where there are 3 dots after the last scalp makes an intra-series scalp valid, or a 2-point pullback between the last scalp's 1 bar back number and the prices going forward. So as you can see here, the pullback from this high, 1350 down to 1311.50 is 2 points. That fits. For an intra-series scalp, it's 1 of 2 rules. This fits both of them. You can either have 3 dots after the last S to take your next scalp, which happens right here, 3 dots, or you can have 2 points of pullback between the last scalp number going 1 bar back to make sure you capture the most extreme price, and to make sure you have then from that point forward a 2-point pullback, which you do in this case. So this scalp fit both rules. Many traders got into it here. As you can see, it went against traders by about 3 or 4 ticks, but then shot up and made the 8 ticks profit right there. And the runner was taken out of 49 ticks of profit here from the open price to the open price of this candle here was 49 ticks. Regular trading hours made 64 ticks, which is 16 points on Thursday. Many traders on Thursday made as much as 20 and 25 points. Those that were more aggressive on their scalps made even more money. But otherwise, majority of the room made 10 to 15, 10 to 16 points of profit for the trades taken for the day. All the trades that met the rules netted 64 ticks with 16 points pre-market, and before that was 22 ticks for 5.5 points. So Thursday netted a total of 21.5 points of profit. Now let's go to the euro on that same day. We're taking profits between 2 a.m. and 12 p.m. First trade short here at 2:55 in the morning. First half of your position, you take out a profit of 20 pips. That was done here. Second half, you allow it to run. You bring it to break even. You let it run. And you take it out before news, the candle before the market open, the candle before market close. Those are the rules for exit. Very simple. This was allowed to run to right here, 4:25 in the morning for a total of actually 80 pips. And so the profit then, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. Let me bring that back up. $100 pips of profit were made on the euro that day per standard, mini, or micro. Now, this trade here, this is a trade where it has a chase price greater than the trigger price. The rule is to use no more than 20 pips on a primary entry. On a cautionary entry, where the previous trade made more than 50 pips a move, which this one win as much as 96 pips. The cautionary trade for euro trading is when the previous trade goes more than 50 pips. The cautionary trade dictates you take 1/2 the position size. And for the trigger versus the chase, it should be no more than 10 to 15 pips. This is about 20 pips, a little bit more than we'd like it to be. But for those that would have taken this trade, because some probably did in the room, we can count this as a 25 pip loss on one contract, which still makes the euro net 75 pips for the day. But this trade, guys, most in the room would know on a large movement short to not take a retracement trade long unless you get a good entry, which would be the trigger price, not the chase, and you take half your position size. All right, so anyway, an outstanding day on the euro, 75 to 100 pips made, and the ES made 21 points. The ES averages 9 points a day. The euro averages about 45 pips to 50 pips almost now a day. And these systems have an 86% success rate, And if you're not a member and you're checking out these videos and want to become a trial member, I highly suggest you do so. These systems analyze what matters, which is order flow and volume on the bid and ask side. They don't use lagging indicators. They give you a windshield to see what's going forward as you're driving down the road of trying to make money trading. They don't give you the rear view mirror that shows you what happened in the past. It shows you what's going to happen in the future. That's why they have an 86% success rate in the 2.5 months since the service has been live. And that's why traders are making outstanding profits week in and week out with these systems. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in the room. And if you have any questions, please email me at info@es-runner.com, info@esrunner.com. The website is www.es-runner.com. These are for the Euro and ES running trading systems.